It's safe to say that Cardarine has had a bit of a bumpy ride. That said, Cardarine may just be perfectly primed for an epic comeback. First developed by GSK in 1992 as a treatment for obesity and type 2 diabetes, Cardarine was cool. It was very cool, performing exceptionally well in preliminary animal studies. The best comparison I can come up with right now is that Cardarine was to blood cholesterol what Ozempic is to blood sugar levels today. Most of you will already know that we can divide blood cholesterol into two camps. Good blood cholesterol is known as high-density lipoprotein, while bad blood cholesterol is known as low-density lipoprotein. We call them HDL and LDL for short. Anyway, well, when administered to obese monkeys suffering from a range of metabolic diseases, we actually see Cardarine increase HDL levels to good cholesterol, all the while also pushing LDL levels down. Cardarine was able to do this in a dose-dependent manner, and at a dose of just 3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, the obese monkeys had blood tests that were no different from the healthy monkey controls. Clearly, GlaxoSmithKline had struck gold, except it didn't. Interesting, Cardarine had been growing for years, but it all came crashing down after a slew of animal studies published in 2006 and 2007 claimed Cardarine to be carcinogenic, and there was clearly no coming back from that. Cardarine had risen slowly, squeezing its way into academic circles only to fly too close to the sun and come crashing down. The party was well and truly over, or was it? Turns out we have a fighter on our hands, and Cardarine wasn't going to just pack up and leave just yet. Just like a washed-up pop star who refuses to go away, Cardarine came back, reinventing itself. By now it was so done being a glorified statin, like seriously. Well, that was maybe cool in 1992, but it was 2008 now, and Cardarine needed a makeover, a facelift. Could Cardarine maybe have a few more tricks up its sleeve? The next chapter saw Cardarine reinvent itself into a world-class doping agent used by Olympic athletes. Even crazier, Cardarine aced this new role that it found itself in. In fact, Cardarine made such a splash within the competitive sports industry that it swiftly found itself added to the list of banned substances by the World Anti-Doping Agency in 2009. Now, that's what I call an overachiever. Still, that didn't stop professional athletes from using Cardarine to improve their performance and gain an edge over their competition, and these athletes weren't exactly risking it all for nothing. Cardarine is what is known as a peroxisome proliferator activator receptor delta agonist. Anyway, let's just agree we call it PPAR delta agonist for short. After all, we're not sociopaths, at least you're not. An agonist is basically a molecule that binds to a receptor on a cell surface, activating said receptor, and triggering a whole host of biochemical pathways inside the cell. And in the specific case of Cardarine, the PPAR delta receptor is activated in muscle, fat, and the liver. It's in these tissues that Cardarine switches cellular metabolism to favor consuming fat over consuming carbohydrates to meet its energy needs, or the cell's energy needs. While this may seem inconsequential to the simple minds like those that reside inside the heads of conservative Republican voters, this simple metabolic switch actually favors some muscle fibers over others. Yeah, you actually have different types of muscle fibers, but I feel like that's a conversation for another day. Let's just focus on Cardarine for now. The thing is, slow twitch muscle fibers rely more on fats for their energy, so they like this new arrangement that Cardarine is bringing in. Meanwhile, the fast twitch muscle fibers aren't too pleased, as they're more reliant on carbohydrates for their energy needs. As their name suggests, slow twitch muscle fibers tend to be slower. However, they make up for it by providing you with loads and loads and loads of endurance. So basically, Cardarine won't make an athlete faster. It won't make them stronger, but it will allow athletes to run, swim, and cycle longer distances, all without ever feeling tired. In one experiment, scientists were able to show that a distance run by sedentary, untrained mice increased from 1,000 meters to 1,800 meters. That's a whopping 80% after the mice were treated with Cardarine. This advantage continued even after the mice were trained up. These improved athletic mice didn't just make Usain Bolt jealous. They could now run 2,400 meters before seeing the running distances climb even higher to nearly 3,000 meters once they've been juiced up with some Cardarine. Their blood lactate levels before and after the race were also remarkable. The untrained mice that were treated with Cardarine saw essentially zero 0, actually negative, according to the graph. Increase in blood lactate. The significance of this could be huge, as it's lactate that tires you out during a race, makes your muscles sore, and prolongs recovery times. Anyway, no wonder the athletes loved it. Cardarine had reinvented itself, and it had carved a new life for itself in the shadows as an illicit yet perfectly legal substance sold on many a shady website. Anyway, things could have stayed that way for Cardarine. But remember how I mentioned that Cardarine was like a washed-up pop star that just refuses to go away? Well, just like every washed-up pop star, Cardarine still had one big hit in it. Things were about to get very interesting. In 2018, a couple of studies were published. In these studies, the researchers treated several human cancer cell cultures with Cardarine. And here were the results. Each one of these black dots you see is a cancer cell colony. Cardarine, known formally by its research chemical name, GW501516, was found to inhibit cancer growth. In the experiments, the scientists calculated a 25% decline in the number of cancer cells following Cardarine treatment. It seems Cardarine may also boast anti-cancer properties, but wait a minute. What was that? Wait, I think I lost something. What was that claim about Cardarine being carcinogenic? Looking back at the 2006 and 2007 animal studies that claimed Cardarine to be carcinogenic, you can clearly see that the mice that were treated with Cardarine did end up with substantially more colonic polyps, which are often associated with colon cancer. But there's a catch. The mice used in these experiments had a gene mutation that predisposed them to colon cancer. Now, I don't imagine the scientists were being nefarious or anything. I hope at least. But I imagine due to budgetary constraints, they probably couldn't carry out their experiments on thousands of mice in the vain hope that some of them would just develop colon cancer. So they genetically engineered the mice so that they were predisposed to cancer, colon cancer at least, allowing them to carry out their experiments using fewer mice for less money. But the problems didn't just stop there. The mice were never actually given Cardarine to consume orally. These genetically engineered mice that were predisposed to colon cancer were killed and having their colon tissue extracted and soaked, literally soaked, in a Cardarine solution, which allowed the scientists to use obscenely high concentrations of Cardarine in their experiments, concentrations that would be effectively impossible to achieve in a real living body. At least I hope I don't get soaked in Cardarine anytime soon. Anyway, it could very well be that Cardarine's critics were wrong all along. But I suppose that's part of the course for a washed-up pop star. My name is Hashem, and I'm a medical doctor, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about science. I do sometimes ramble, as you can see. If you like science and you don't mind watching me ramble, you know what to do. So I hope to see you all next time.